So what we have here is about a 600-year-old Algonquin Mishoon. The Mishoon was probably made by the Massachusetts tribe and was found here in Weymouth. And what we're doing currently is two-phase project on it. The first part of the project is conservation. We've had to go in and do an archival cleaning of the actual piece. There's a lot of structural issues that have occurred over the last couple of years where it's been cracking and it became in jeopardy of actually falling apart into probably 2 or 3 pieces. And at this point, we've stabilized all of the cracks, we've stabilized the degradation, and we're now moving through the cleaning phase. And once we finished the cleaning phase, which actually happened this morning, we went through an evidence period where we're now assessing the canoe and looking for more of its history that it contains inside, secrets. And it actually has been revealing some fantastic findings for us. The second phase of this project is going to be probably in about a couple of weeks, where we're going to be building a custom argon display case. So the case itself is going to be all archival quality, airtight and sealed, and filled with a argon gas. It's an inert gas that will help preserve the piece. It's the same kind of gas that's used for higher level museum objects. The Constitution is in an archival case, things like that. And once that's done, it will be back open to the public and on display here at Tufts Library. So in 1965, one of the parts that was found actually intact on the canoe was this keel. And it is not traditional to the Mishoon. And so what some of the experts at the time, when they pulled this off and they had it analyzed, they made the discovery that this is actually not the same wood material. This is actually hickory and hemlock, excuse me, with some old nails. And they pulled the nails out, they sent them to a conservator that was attached to MIT at the time, and he said that those nails were clearly pilgrim times. That's one of his quotes. And so they started coming up with this kind of thought that this canoe actually saw maybe some life much later than the point that it was carbon dated. It was carbon dated for about between 14 and 1500, and that now we have these nails that originated in the 1600s attached to this piece. So not much thought was given to it. Slightly after our conservation, my partner Glenn and I, we went in here and started looking at the structure of the canoe. We're checking fibers and looking for anything else that this canoe might reveal. And some of the things that we discovered was, once the grime was cleared, these little markings up along this particular side, these are actually nail markings. And if you can see, there's this sort of rounding that has occurred where a nail has been banged in and rounded and come out. We find these going all the way along this edge, and we started having to try to speculate, why do we see these nail holes going through here, and if they were actually nail holes. Some of the first guesses were they could have been where nets were tied or something along these lines, until we actually found a nail. Down at the bottom, down at the side here, we actually made the discovery of a nail. And you can kind of see a little bit of the embedding inside, but on the other side there's about an inch of it coming out, and it's wrapped right around it. Underneath that nail, I've actually pulled out a small piece of preserved leather, and I think that it's possibly a piece of lace. When we started really thinking about this, we thought that this possibly could have been rigging at one particular time that had actually come out, wrapping around, pieces of nail coming out to a small post. And you can see evidence of the support beam for the post right in here, where there's wooden pegs and a wooden band that has kind of left its imprint on the middle of this canoe. There is evidence in the historical record that shows that colonists and pilgrims, when they interacted with the natives and acquired Mishoons along these lines, would modify them with keels and sails. In fact, the Lewis and Clark expedition, there's an actual illustration where they've taken a native canoe and put a mast with a small sail with rigging on one side. And they were also known to take wagon wheels and put them on the canoes to help them kind of move supplies along as well. So we know that pilgrims and colonists modified these canoes. And now that this has gone through another round of conservation, we're able to see some of the evidence to support this one has as well. This originates in the 1400s. By about the 1600s, it actually sees a congruence of history where colonists and natives are actually intermingling, and then it continues on its lifespan, gets lost, and it's found in 1965, and it's a fantastic archaeological find.